game has certainly been played, all in the St George territory. A second scrum to pack down. Referee for this afternoon's fixture, Mr Barry Barnes. The Saints come up with a scrum. And Lanane very quickly wrapped up at scrum base. Now Phil Ritchie moves into the dummy half roll, picks up a runner. It's Jarvis. Jarvis played for City First yesterday in the second row. Back with St George this afternoon, and he's playing in the front row position. This is going to be a penalty. It's going to be a penalty to Illawarra. Some of the St George, the 5'8" Kennan, offside. So Dorothy may be tempted to have a shot at goal. He's only a few metres off centre. About 23, 24 metres out. A chance for the Steelers to put early points on the board. Etherington, the skipper, gives the ball to Dorothy. And Dorothy says, yes, we'll have a shot at goal. As I said, St George running with a strong southerly breeze at their backs. I should imagine the Saints would be hoping for at least an 8-point lead by half-time, 6 to 8 points. As Dorothy about to have his first attempt at goal. Taking a lot of time with this kick. Now he just clears a bit of mud off the right boot. So a chance, early chance for the Steelers to open the scoring. We've had about 3 minutes 40. Dorothy to pace himself out. Many believe this will be Joe Cool's last year in Sydney Rugby League. What a great player he's been. Dorothy moves in, strikes it. It's in the air. It's sailing towards the post, and it's over the black dot. So the Steelers have opened the scoring. And it's Illawarra 2, leading St George, no score. And once again, a bad, misdirected long pass has broken down their attack. St George come up with it. Burgess injects himself into the back line. So Saints 4-3 the scrum count, but the Illawarra team leading by 2 points to 0 as Big Graham Wynn takes it to within a couple of metres of halfway. Now it's with Jarvis. So St George just running one out at the moment, but they're making plenty of ground against the Illawarra side. Ritchie switches it back across to Noak. Noak pirouettes out of Mackey's tackle, but then Mackey was able to go down low and hang on to him. Noak having trouble getting to his feet, finally does. Back it goes to Lanane. Lanane chips ahead. Dorothy's racing for it. Dorothy should come up with it just outside the Steelers' 22. Good kick from Lanane. So now this is Hetherington. The Steelers leading by 2 points to 0, and we've had 16 minutes of the first half gone by the board. This is Hardy. Only having his second first-grade game with the Steelers. Many predict that young man will have a big future in rugby league. So Carberry takes it up the blind side. Craig Young and Michael Beattie over there to halt his progress. Now they work it back towards centre field, and this is Patterson. He decides to kick. It's going to go straight down the throat of Brian Johnston. Johnston calls around his winger, then decides to hang on to it. He's brought down right on halfway by Michael Patterson and Jeff Hardy. So this is Jarvis, St George. There's not too many runners supporting the ball carrier. Now this is Wynn. Goes up the blind side, picks up a few metres. Gets to his feet. Now it's with Ritchie. Gives it to Lanane. Back to Young. Young turns it back, and then the pass is on the ground. It's going to be picked up by O'Connor. He gets it out to Beattie. Beattie's full of running. Good run by Beattie. Turns it back to Kennan. Now it's with Lanane. And the St George side will score a try under the post. So St George 4 as O'Connor moves in, and he's a round-the-foot kicker who comes up with the extras. So St George 6, lead Illawarra 2, 5 all the scrums. And the penalty counts at the moment 7-1 in favour of the Steelers, but the score 6-2 in favour of the Saints as they come up with it, and the work a set move. This is Burgess. Now Burgess finally gets to his feet, plays the ball. It's with Wynn, gives a short ball to Morris, who's come right in from his right wing. Bit of an altercation between Dorry and Wynn in back play. Now this is Kennan. Kennan decides to kick ahead. There's no one at home for the Steelers. The ball's in the in-goal area. The race is on, but David Moon's able to get there first. And it's going to be a penalty to St George. And it's right in front. So referee Barry Barnes has indicated that the Steelers player was impeded in his attempt to get the ball. So it's Michael O'Connor to have a shot at goal. Gee, they don't come any easier than this. Right in front. Quite an entertaining game of rugby league. O'Connor moves in, right foot hits it, and it's straight over the black dot. So after 34 minutes, it's St George 8, Illawarra 2. Now the scrum to pack down. Steve Lenane to feed from St George. It's going to be won by the Saints. Now it's Kennan. Kennan holds it to Burgess, who's coming as an extra man. This is O'Connor. O'Connor's found a bit of a gap. John Dorry able to pull down the ex-Rugby Union international. So this game's certainly starting to come to life as St George make another bust. This is Wynn. He's looking for support, then turns the ball back, but the ball's been deflected and the Steelers will come up with it. This is Kev Kelly. Well, a try scoring opportunity for Saints went begging then. As Hardy runs from dummy half, and this game has certainly sprung to life. These two teams have met together on 6 occasions and the record stands at 3 wins apiece as Selby finds a little bit of a gap. St George leading by 8 points to 2. And we've had 8.5 minutes of this second half. Selby once again getting involved in the play. Had quite a good first half. Now it's back to Kelly. Kelly decides to kick, but the ball is swirl. Morris is just cruising back. And the ball has found touch just inside the St George 22. I don't think Steve Morris is having his best game for St George this afternoon. So another scrum to pack down. Once again, Lenane to feed. It's going to be won by St George. Kennan steps off the leg. Tries to get around the defence. Can't do so. 8-6 the scrum count in favour of St George. This is O'Grady. The pass has been knocked down. It's on the ground. Picked up by Beattie. Then he decides to clap on the pace. Patterson pulls him down right around the bootlaces. Good tackle from Michael Patterson. Now Jarvis gives it away to Burgess. And Burgess is brought down. Phil Ritchie from dummy half gives it to Young. Young manages to unload the ball. It's been knocked backwards by Jarvis. This is Johnston. Gets into the clear. Tries to get around Dora. He does. Now he looks for support. Turns it back to a St George support. Good football by St George there on the Steelers 22. Now they work it to the grandstand side. This will be interesting. The defence is coming across. Saints turn it back into the centre field. Kennan gives it back to Lenane. Lenane steps, gives it back to Wynn. Wynn may have lost his footing and has brought down 5 tackles, says referee Barry Barnes. So St George, this is Morris, back to Young. They chip ahead. And Wayne McPherson's going to get it only about 3 metres out from the Illawarra try line. So good football as Carberry starts to run it back out. He palms off one. And he's brought down in centre field and about 15 metres out from the Illawarra try line. St George leading by 8 points to 2 as Hardy goes from dummy half. Well, this game has been played at a cracking pace this second half, and we've had 10.5 minutes. 8-2 in favour of St George. Back to Dorothy. Decides to play this game back down in the St George territory. The ball rolling end over end. Morris should pick this up on his 22. Let's see what Slippery can do. He's got Burgess outside. He's gone straight through. Morris, electrifying pace. Still going Morris. He'll kick ahead. This should be a St George try. O'Grady toes it ahead. It's in the in-goal area. O'Grady will score. A super St George try. Well, that's all Steve Morris. And to be quite honest, Morris, you wouldn't have thought he was in the game up until now. Well, Morris pace just blitzed the Illawarra defence. Michael O'Connor about to move in. There she goes, and it's over the black dot, so the Saints go to a 14 points to 2 lead. And we've had 12 minutes in the second half, but they're going to be doing it tough for the next 30 minutes to get back into this game. Well, Johnston's knocked on. So a bad mistake from the representative player. Brian Johnston played in the centres for country yesterday, had quite a strong game, made quite a few long breaks, but a bad mistake from the kickoff. St George leading 14 points to 2. Some of the St George players broke from that scrum early thinking the Steelers had won the ball. Now they have. Steelers have come up with it. This is Brian Hetherington. If the Steelers can score a try in the next few minutes, this game will certainly be at a cracker pace for the dying stages. Saints leading by 14 points to 2 as Patterson's brought down 16 metres out from the St George line. O'Connor gives it to Kelly. Kelly gives it out to Hardy. Tries to wrong foot the defence, can't get around. Cannon and O'Grady stop the Steelers centre. Now they work it back towards the ocean side. Doherty is up in the back line, gives it to Mackie. Mackie has nowhere to go. Now he decides to chip ahead. A race for the ball. McPherson's picked it up, and McPherson may have scored. Well, the Steelers are back into this game. A good try to the Illawarra side. So in the space of only a minute and a half, the Steelers have hit back. So you'll probably be aiming for the left-hand upright. Difficult kick. It's into the sun as well. Doherty's kick sailing towards the post, but it's fallen just short. And Mackie moves into the halfback role, and the scrum's been won by the Steelers. Now it's with Hetherington. There's only about 3 minutes remaining in this match. St George leading 14 points to 6 as Mackie turns it back to Hardy. Hardy finds a bit of a gap. Now he'll send a one-handed pass away to Selby. Selby's got a little bit of room to move, claps on the pace, then he throws a shocker of a pass. It bounces, but Moon picks it up. And then Moon is driven backwards to the St George 22 by Brian Johnson. So a last-ditch stand for the Steelers. And it's going to be knocked on, so a bad mistake now from the Steelers camp. A lot of the crowd starting to leave. They feel the game is well and truly over. St George leading 14 points to 6. But by gee, it's been a good game of rugby league. And how the Steelers can only be on 4 points and 2 wins for the season amazes me, because they've played some good football as they come up with another scrum win. They have just thrown just about everything by the kitchen sink at this St George defence. And in turn, the Saints defence has been first class. They've been peppered with bombs as Rod Reddy comes on to play against his old club. And a rousing reception as the rocket goes around against his old club of St George. Reddy played in the reserve grade fixture here today and scored a try. So now Brian Hetherington to get to his feet. Now it's with Mackie. Mackie decides to run the other way. He tries to get away from a support. Now he's passed it back. It's come off a St George player, so that'll be 6 more to go. Hetherington, a dummy half, decides to have a run. He picks up 5 or 6 metres, only about 9 metres short of the St George try line. It's 14 points to 6 in favour of the Saints. It's with Hardy. Now it's Selby. And Selby's brought down. Reddy running around the blind sides. Jason Moon, he takes it the other way. Then he drops the ball. So St George come up with it. Well, really, the Illawarra players, there were about 3 or 4 that shuffled around to the blind side. Jason Moon went the open side and then dropped possession. So that should be the ball game. St George leading 14 points to 6 as Phil Ritchie runs from dummy half. Becoming very dark here at Wollongong Showground. This is Big Graham Wynn. Had a strong game. The wind brought down 24 metres out from the St George line. Saints running in 2 tries to 1. Back it goes to Linane. He gives it back to Wynn. Wynn decides to kick, but it's going to go out on the full. And certainly Graham Wynn looks a very tired young man, as there it is, full time. And so in a very entertaining game of rugby league, St George remain at the top of the Winfield competition with a 14 points to 6 win over the Illawarra Steelers. For St George, Steve Linane a try and Graham O'Grady a try. Michael O'Connor has landed 3 goals from 3 attempts. For the Illawarra camp, Wayne McPherson a try and John Dorahy 1 goal from 3 attempts. At halftime, St George led by 8 points to 2, but at full time, it's the St George Dragons by 14 points to 6.